Alright, welcome back to the channel. Today we're pulling the V8 out. It's out, a bit of a struggle. I had to jack up the body of the frame. Bit of a drama, but anyway, we've got that done. It probably would have been easier to kind of pull the transmission off, but being four-wheel drive, there's not a great deal of room in there. So I just tried to pull it out whole, but as I said, I had to jack up the body so the sump would clear the front diff. So we got that out, and we're going to detach the transmission, and it's probably going to go junkyard too, because cores are worth nothing where I'm at, and it's food barred. I know it's food barred, it gets no gears, so done scope. See you later, transmission. But we're going to keep the bell housing, because there's a company that does a CD09 kit for the CD09s out of the 350Z, and you can do it to a LS swap, so you can get a CD09, you get a 6-speed and mount to an LS, and hopefully I might be able to use that in a later project I've got working in my mind a little bit. So we'll get to that, but let's get the transmission off the engine.
Yes.
What the hell was that? Having a bit of drama. My wheels on the hoist have obviously been violated in the move. This one doesn't want to work, and there's this one. I might have to see if I can find some new ones, but let's get this ripped apart. So next on the list of things to do, this thing's been giving me some major grief. Doesn't want to roll. This is all bent. So I went to Hub Freight again and got these. I can't remember. I think they were like $12 each or $7. I can't remember. Anyway, they were not crazy. So we're gonna put these on, and then hopefully it should roll a bit better. And I bought the rear main seal for the back, and then we'll be able to start put the clutch and everything back together. So let's do it. Always a little drama. For some reason the holes were not the same, so I just ended up drilling out a couple extra holes, and that should do the job. I was going to weld it, but then realized my gas I have not brought here, so quick drill and move around, and we got it done. So let's move on to the rear main, and hopefully we get it put back in pretty soon. I'm tired of it. I'm ready. I'm ready for it to be in. Be good. You remember the Happy Gilmore deal? You too good for your hole? So let's put it in. Whenever I put these straps, tie these on around the exhaust manifold or whatnot, I just like to take the spark plug out. That looks like it's gonna, be damaged if something happens or snap off. So you know, a bit of preventative. We'll take it out now. See, I took that last one off. I have to readjust it because the weight's obviously shifted. Now it doesn't have a transmission on it. So we're gonna take the next spark plug out, and then we're gonna wrap it around there, and then do the same on the other side, and then lift it, and hopefully it should lift pretty square. Now I've changed the line where the strap goes. Was right where that coil pack was, so rather than, you know, a chance of damaging the coil pack, I just took the coil pack off. And this hose here that goes from this vacuum port into the fuel rail, always break, so I always like to take those off as well. So we took that off, and I think we should be ready to jack it up with minimal interference. Okay, so as far as doing rear main on one of these, it's pretty easy. There's a couple of Heidi bolts under here, real long suckers. Get them out. It's pretty oily. It's been dripping down here, down and covering all this in, you know, the good stuff. So it should come out pretty easy. Undo a few bolts, quick durga. I assume it's pretty clean in here, apart from the you know, oil hanging out down the bottom there. Get this off. You'll be able to see inside the engine a little bit and see how clean it is. Hopefully it's clean. I haven't popped the valve covers or anything yet. So it belonged to a, I think it was a dairy farm, and her brother was a mechanic, and he did all the maintenance on it. So I hope that it's a good one. So let's pop this off. That's not too bad. Yeah, there's been a few long service intervals, but that's, I guess it's to be expected. Alright, off. Get this sucker off, hopefully, without leaving too much behind. Oh, she's old, she's stiff. Yeah, that's already split a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, it's got a little crack right there. So it was probably not much longer for this weld anyway. So we'll get this cleaned up. I'll put a little bit of spurge in the corner. And then I like to, you know, a bit of WD spray, a bit of lube or something on the seal when we put it back in. And that way it'll go in a lot easier, and nobody likes going in a dry hole, so it always helps, a bit of lube. Because I suffer from being a tight ass, my wife keeps telling me, but anyway, for little lubricating jobs that, you know, I'm going to push in with the bearing here, I'm just going to spray a little lube just to, you know, same issue with dry holes, make it a little bit easier. But for doing little jobs like that, little quick jobs that you're not really needing it to hang out, like WD spray, like this is like half the price. So the WD spray, I love it, it's great stuff, and it hangs on permanently, well, not permanently, but hangs on really good. So, you know, doing door hinges or stuff like that, you know, jobs where you want it to hang out for a little bit longer, this is what I like to use. But for quick little, you know, lubricating jobs or something like that, I just like to get the Walmart lubricant spray. As I said, you're saving half the money, and if it's a quick job like this, where it's not really going to change the effect, you're just wanting to give it a little bit of extra help, that's what I like to use anyway. Save a couple of bucks. Yeah, that's about it. So let's go and spray this, and we're going to push this bearing in. Just give it a little tap till it goes all the way home, and then we'll put the seal on. And I figure I'll do that now. That way, if I slip and miss, I'm not going to damage any of the seals. So let's do that. So the flywheel, being a part that you don't want to fly off randomly, I lashed out and bought some ARP flywheel bolts and clutch bolts. I had to buy them anyway. So these were really not a whole lot more expensive. I think the flywheel ones were like 30 and the clutch ones, you know, were like 25 or something like that. So pretty cheap, worthwhile investment. So we're gonna put that on and give this a clean before we put the clutch on. I think most of you know that we need to spray it down with some degreaser and prep it. Those that don't, spray it down with degreaser or something, and shame on you, you should know better. So we've got these tightened down to an appropriate industry standard. I think it was 3 duggas, and I think that gets it spot on. But we've got it face all cleaned up, and now we're going to put the clutch on. It comes with an aligning tool, pretty easy job, so we're going to do that right now. So this is what we're going for, is a nice smooth release. So we know when we install it, the clutch is going to slide in and out of the shaft. So it's not the most expensive clutch. I like the brass button one, as I said, and this is just a stock Fly of 3. So I think this should handle a bit of abuse, you know, a few clutch dumps and some stuff like that. It's got a pretty good clamp pressure. So I think we're pretty much done here at the back side. Now we'll probably get ready to put it in. Oh no, I was getting prematurely excited again. We need to take the 2 engine mounts out of the V8 truck here and transfer them to said V6 truck, because they are different, very different. So I have to do that first. Excuse my prematureness. Let's get that done. And I'm tossing out whether I should take the transmission out and bolt it up on the bench or floor, ground, what have you. May be easier, because reaching down the backside is very much a pain in the sphincter. So I may do that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, this definitely shows the difference between the 2 engine mounts. The location of the hump, where it sits. So this is the passenger side, is way different. The driver's side one is slightly less different. So the hump's about the same spot, but on the V6 one they got this weird little notch out on the side, and the hump is not as proud. This one sits up a fair bit. So that's kind of the difference. When you're looking between the V6 and the V8 ones, they've got this weird little kickback on the side. Not really sure what the benefit of that is. And that's on both of them, passenger and driver. They got that little notch. So easy to tell a V6 one, just different, very different. So they're in, and I have to take the fuel line out. Well, it was a bit of a drama, I'll be honest. It was much easier doing the two-wheel drive V6 to V8. That front diff, definitely a bit of a pain, but anyway, mounts ran. I just got to do up the bolts. I got like one transmission bolt to do up, and exhaust, and the front, and slowly start putting it all back together. I'll need to get a new receiver dryer, and I think this hose too. Yeah, because this one's the one from the Suburban that's got the extra for the rear cooling deal, so I need to get another one of those. Just a few odds and ends, but we're on the home stretch, so it's quite exciting. Apart from that, need to get a muffler. It doesn't have a muffler, it was straight piped. It sounded awesome on a V6, straight piped. What a killer. But anyway, we'll order that, and I'll bring the welder over here this time. And well, I've got the welder here, I just don't have the gas bottle. But anyway, let's keep chugging along. Chug, chug. Thanks for coming along. I hope you enjoyed it. It's been tedious. We're not quite finished, but we're at least running now. It starts up, the clutch works good. I just, moved a little bit back and forward. So that's where we're going to end it for today. And I'm going to continue, tidying a little bit up. And I'll bring you that for the next episode. And I've ordered some bed liner. It's a tinnable bed liner, and it's a pewter metallic, which I think this truck was originally pretty close to that color, so we were going to scuff it back, and then we're going to shoot it just kind of light. It's already got a rebuilt title, so the truck's never going to be a show truck, so it's probably just going to be someone's mud bash and toy and having a bit of fun. So that's why I went with bed liner. It's pretty forgiving. I got a few down the side, so I have to fix that. I'll try and bash them out first, and maybe like a very light skim or filler, but that will be next episode. So if you're mildly entertained, hey, leave me a thumbs up, and anything you want to know more about, just leave me a comment, and thanks for watching.